that last year at Miami, we were light at certain positions. We were inexperienced at certain positions. So halfway through that season, we were so light at D-line that all of a sudden I got to make a change schematically, period. But I think probably in my high school days and my smaller college days, I was always taught to make sure you run things that fits your kids the best. You can't just be in what this is my scheme, this is what I do. No, it's Miami's defense, what we need to do to be successful. And I think that's through learning experience. And so I always say I don't coach out of a playbook, I coach off of experiences. So I knew who our best players were last year after we started getting injured, and I felt like I had to get the best players on the field. So that's what we did, and it panned out. It panned out. So
maybe younger, you wouldn't have changed?
No, I wouldn't have changed when I was young. I wouldn't have had enough experience to do it. And it was collected between me and D-Nick and some of the D-line coaches. We want to make sure we put the best 11 on the field, and that's what we felt like gave us the best chance against Clemson. We kind of rode that for a while, but then it caught up to us kind of at the end. We just didn't have enough guys up front that were healthy, and it is what it is.
What did you do? I can't even remember.
We jumped from a 4-down to a 3-man front, put in an extra backer, and we was playing on the edges with Wesley and one of the other backers. It was multiple ones, and so we got in some bear and some odd look with some linebackers as defensive ends. So,
how relieved were some of the guys on the team when they found out you were coming back another year? Because I was speaking with some of the guys who've been in the program 2, 3, maybe 4 years, and they were really excited. Like, just speaking about continuity and having you back here again and being comfortable with the system.
Yeah, I think it's important that you have carryover schemes, first of all, but then carryover of coaches. We had Coach Adai left, but then we add Chevis, who had been with me before, so a lot of the terminology and the things we do, he's already done, but he's kind of taken it to a different level of what he likes, at the corner position. So that was good, that they felt good that who I was hiring that was connected to me, so that was good. And those guys playing in the defense the second year having the same terminology is big, because they've kind of been through a little bit of a gauntlet on defense of terminologies, and it's just hard to get good if you always changing, So the guys felt good, so I'm excited to be back, and I think we got a good football team.
And flipping over to the offensive side, last question for me. Anyone, whether it may be a freshman or transfer that's come into the program, aside from Cam Ward, let's talk about Cam Ward, but anyone you think could open people's eyes this year that people are not talking about enough?
I'm just going from what I've seen. Of course, they know about the transfer wide receiver from Houston, but I think Elijah Lofton, what he was able to do this spring as a freshman, come in and make all the one-handed catches, being able to play running back, play tight end, off the ball, on the ball, flexed out. That's a lot for a freshman, but the game slowed down for him the moment he got here. So I think he'll have a big year. How much we use him, I don't know, but I think our tight end positions is pretty special right now. I really do believe that. And I don't know. Cam's going to have a good year, and we got a good offensive line, so you have a chance when you have those common things, a good quarterback and a big, experienced, physical offensive line. It makes the defensive coordinator feel good for sure.
Thank you.
What's up, Coach?
All right, Bay. You all right?
Doing good. Just wanted to ask first about the defensive line, man. It's loaded as far as as many bodies that you can use. How many bodies do you think you can kind of use in this rotation, and how excited are you to kind of have the flexibility to maybe stay in a 4-3 or a 4-2-5 or a 3-3-5?
I think we got multiple guys. Right now, looking at it on paper, you probably feel good about, not even depending on freshmen, probably 5 defensive tackles and 5 ends, which makes you feel really good. But then you have a couple freshmen that could come in and give some assistance as well. The defensive tackle position in Scott, and you have all these freshman defensive ends, whether it's Lightfoot, whether it's McConaughey, whether it's Booker Pickett, whether it's Rudolph, whoever it may be. You got a bunch of guys out there, so just excited to see how quick they catch on and if we can use them this year.
Do you expect to kind of use these freshmen? Do you think that could be a possibility?
I hope we can use them, but I hope we don't have to depend on them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When you have to depend on a bunch of freshmen, you're probably going to go through some growing pains. But if you're able to use them and do what they do well, then I think it could be an asset, whether it be third and long or whether it be at the end of the game as a rush to passer, whether it be special teams. So I feel like we have a bunch of numbers, and that's always a good thing, when you got a bunch of numbers at the defensive line.
Now, when it comes to the defensive backs, there should be some competition, I would say. So, how excited are you to see these guys kind of battle for playing time at the defensive back
Yeah,
position?
you know, you've got a couple battles at safety, you know, with Harris and Markeith, and then Zaquan's going to throw himself in there too, you know. So Zaquan has a lot of talent. He's just inexperienced, just arrived on campus this spring, but he'll be better this fall camp than he was when he started. Then at the corner position, you've got 4 to 5 guys that can go, and you know, Porter's the oldest one. Then you got Richard and you have Brown. You throw in Diana Hill, who's a transfer, and look out for OJ Frederic. I mean, so I'm excited about those guys and just see them compete against each other.
Awesome. And just at the linebacker position, how solid do you feel about Kiko in the middle and really kind of being a leader of this defense?
I feel good. You know, he's a quiet leader, but I think he'll be a little bit more vocal. Then you got Alderman coming in, who's got a lot of experience. He played under a good defense, a good program with Louisville. And then Wesley made big strides this past year in the spring. So I feel good. We're our top 3, but then you got a guy like Popo, who's gotten a lot better this spring and over the summer. And then you have Bobby Pruitt. You got Bobby Washington. So you've got some younger guys that you're anxious to see how much they grow. So I feel good. I think we can go 4-3. We can go 4-2-5. I think we can do multiple things, but I think, you know, our experiences up front at backer. In the secondary, we're a little thin, but we got guys that can play multiple positions.
Awesome. Last year, we seen you kind of coach up the safeties a little bit at times. Now with Coach Jackson in the mix, is it still kind of going to be that way, you think?
Yeah, it's still kind of that way. Jackson's the secondary coach, and he'll install all the defenses. And then after practice, when we break up the film, he'll take the corners and the nickels that are corners, and I'll take the safeties and the safeties that are nickels, and we'll watch film separately so we can make the corrections and use our time wisely. And then back the next morning, back install all together. So they need to be together to get so they're all on the same page, but then when you're correcting them, they need to be separate because you can do more work that way. But yeah, Chevis is familiar with what we do on defense. He knows how we did it, so he has some suggestions where he knows the background of what we've done before, so that we can switch and just keep always staying fresh and being ahead of the offense.
Awesome. I talked to Mish Powell, and he said he's going to be kind of interchangeable with as a nickel and a safety. Are you guys trying to fight for him as far as?
No, he's a safety. He'll be in my room, but he'll play a little bit of nickel. We're also going to play Brown and Porter at some nickel as well. So when we go 4-2-5, look for Porter, look for Brown to be the first guy to go out there. You could see on some third downs, maybe see Porter. Mish could be on early downs. Then you have to bring in another safety if he does. So there's different things we can do with those positions.
Awesome. Lastly, Jaden Harris, what can you say about him and just what you expect from him in fall camp?
He made a bunch of strides this spring. He's starting to act like a starter. I thought last year he acted like a number 2. You know, he had a couple games where he was able to start in because Cam was hurt. Played one game, I thought he played real well, the other one average, but there's a total difference with him. It's like he knows that he has a shot. You know, he's penciled in as the starter, which means nothing because we're going to compete every day. But, you know, Harris has a lot more confidence with him, and I think he'll have a really good fall camp. I think he'll have a good season.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.